Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 3 of my Lost Tramways of York video. We've just finished up our walk from the Knavesmire to Acomb village, and we're heading down the main road now, back into York. The boundary, this was all in the North Riding, I think, was Acomb village, and the boundary is just down here. I'll put a map up. This street on the right is called Severus Street. Grown quite attached to it over the last few weeks, looking at videos, looking at maps of it. That was here in the 1920s when the trams were here. So yeah, that terrace was here. The boundary for the North Riding ran across the road by the end of that terrace, and the trams into York, the terminus is where the number 1 bus is now. I'm presuming there would have been a tram stop at either side of the road. So you can clearly see on the map the boundary between York and the West Riding, where the old terraces on the opposite side of the road to us and Severus Street that we've just passed are still there, but where the co-op is on the left and the houses or flats opposite was all open fields. Back in 1929 when the map was published. And the trams coming out to Acomb from the city stops right at the city boundary. The lines would have ended where the bus stop is now. And as I told you on the other video, the tram line stopped at the boundary of the city. The boundary for the North York, for the city of York, came up that little snippet there, and it went straight across here somewhere. I don't think this building was here back then. And as I say, the tram terminus was here and here, and this double line of trams. I'll put maps up, but this double line of trams then went all the way into York city centre. So we'll follow that now. That serves it now. Number 1 and the number 412. This was open space on the old map. It looked like an old sort of a big house or something. And you can see the church in the distance that we visited on the last video. Acomb Manor, new luxury care home. Must be the police station. Right next to the pub. Like the olden days. the Carlton Tavern. I was going to add another loop onto this when I got to the station and go up by the river and back round, sort of kind of the way we came, but I'm not going to bother. This has been a lot further than I thought it was going to be. And I've searched on the internet to see if there's any signs of the trams on this route, but I don't think there are. Trams operated in York between January 1910 and November 1935. Main depot, I think, was at Fulford Cross. I think they had 45 trams, and the route length was 8.49 miles, 13.66 kilometres. In 1909, the City of York Corporation bought the assets of the York Tramway Company. Initially, they took over the operation of the horse-drawn tramway, but put into immediate effect plans for electrification and extension. The system eventually expanded to the 6 main routes that we're visiting on these videos, out from the city centre to Acomb, Dringhouses, Fulford, Haxby Road, Hull Road and South Bank. I think I've said it on other videos, it was had a different gauge to other systems in the country. They were wider because of the narrow streets. The gauge was 3'6". On the 1st of April 1934, the network became part of York West Yorkshire when the Tram Company merged its operations with the West Yorkshire Road Car Company. Following a decision to abandon electric traction, the route to Dringhouses closed on the 5th of January 1935, the other 5 on the 16th of November 1935. And a bit of an incline here. There's been a little bit of a hill on each of the tram routes. This one's quite a long one though, isn't it? It would have been fabulous, wouldn't it? I said it on the other two, but it would have been fabulous to see those old trams coming up and down here. So as we're heading down into the city centre, I think we've left Acomb now. I think we're in an area called Holgate. And I get a little bit of a surprise in a moment. I've never been round here before in my life. And you'll see what it is in a second when I glance over to the left. That's right. A fully operational windmill in the middle of all this residential. Couldn't resist, could I? So off we go to have a look at it. Holgate Windmill was abandoned for a very long time. It was built in 1770 and it's run now by the Holgate Windmill Preservation Society, and it's open a few days every week for a few hours. It was built by George Wood, was the first owner and miller. His family ran it until 1851 and a house was erected around the same time. I think at some point, maybe after the 1930s, it started to fall into disrepair. And then in 2001, the Holgate Preservation Society was formed, and they basically rebuilt it, I think, and got it back into working order. And now they mill, make flour, actually use the sails at certain times to make it work. So yeah, definitely worth a visit. What is really random though is just where it is. For me, I was a bit taken aback. It's just in the middle of a housing estate, middle of York. But it's brilliant. I've never seen one as complete as that before. It's a real surprise, a pleasant surprise. Let's go have a look. The millstones there. Not sure what any of this has got to do with the old trams. That's one of the most random things I've ever seen. A fully restored windmill on a roundabout on a housing estate. Imagine opening your bedroom curtains and looking at that every day. So we're coming up to a junction down here, guys, and the trams would have gone to the right. Yeah. So we're on the middle section of this route now. We've passed the windmill on the left, and there was a park on the right. I think it was West Bank Park. And we're heading down the hill. Does it say on Acomb Road? Towards a junction where the Fox Inn is marked. That's still there. It's a heritage inn. I didn't get time to go over and have a look at it. And then the road carries on round towards the junction with Blossom Street in about another 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Cross over a very impressive railway bridge with York Railway Station just off to our left. Come on. So if it's anything like the other road junctions, it should be a long sweeping right-hander. Oh, and I think that, is that the Railway Museum or something over there? Something to do with the railway anyway. Oh no. Holgate Engineering Works, founded 1884. Wow, they're great gates, aren't they? Look at them. Now, could that be a tram? A tram pole? I wonder. I think they probably could actually. They look like they might have been there. One at each side of the road opposite each other. Lovely terrace of houses here. All a lot of them are guest houses, little hotels. I'm deviating again, guys, but come on, come on. St Paul's, Holgate. Behind Carla. I hope I'm still going the right way, guys. Did the trams come across here? Oh, they must have done. The last section of our journey now, as we head down Holgate Road towards the junction with Blossom Street. Our tram would have turned left there and headed down towards Micklegate Bar. This would have also been the route of the trams from Dringhouses. We would then turn left down the road towards the station, with the trams from Nunnery Lane also joining at this point. It's chaos, guys. About 30 little kids with yellow jackets on in various stages of happiness and distress crossing the bridge. I'm with the ones that were in distress. Too much noise, too many people, and it's getting a bit on the warm side. The Crystal Palace. No, not a part of York. Since we left the Knavesmire, I haven't been anywhere that I've ever been before. So yeah, there'd be no trams coming down here today, would there, for all the traffic. So we're nearly at the junction now with Blossom Street, and the trams turn left there and they link up with the Buster Stamford Bridge there, and they link up with the one coming in from Drink Houses. So we'll follow the route to the station, so I need the loo anyway. And then the tram from the south bank would have joined from the Nunnery Lane over on the right there, and they would have all gone down here to the railway station. Whereas we've discussed before, all tram lines in York met, and then they would have continued out to the north and out to the east. 3 more lines that we've still got to explore on future videos. Well, thanks for joining me, guys, on this video where we've followed the course of the early 20th century tram lines that came from Acomb that came from Acomb into the city centre. So yeah, that's where all the trams ended in York. So our tram from Acomb would have ended there. So I'm going to call it a day for today, guys. I'm jiggered. It's been quite the adventure. Thanks very much for joining me as always. If you've got any comments to make about the journey, leave them below, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.